Hi, everybody. Jeff here, and today I'd like to talk about my vote of no confidence in the system. I want to talk about pretty much this entire sitting of Parliament in the fall here has been pretty much the Conservatives time and again putting forth no confidence votes. Justin Trudeau, meaning they want to topple the government. To do that, they would need the majority of Parliament to vote with them on this vote of no confidence, saying we have no confidence in the current government to lead, which would then force an election right away. That's what he wants, because he just simply doesn't want to let Trudeau finish out his term, because he has until I think next fall, to do so, and before he has to call an election. Again, prime ministers have the right to call an election whenever it's convenient for them. So they'll call one early when they're doing good, because then they get another 5 years before they have to call another election. It's a game that they play. Why? Because they can. Because they control when the elections are. Technically, it's the Governor General who calls and dissolves Parliament, but again, they just do whatever the Prime Minister tells them to, because again, they just want to have the nice cushy life, the nice cushy pension afterwards. They're not going to rock the boat. And that's, so pretty much it's up to the Prime Minister. And these votes of no confidence, they're the only really can happen in a minority government, because it's technically possible because the minority government is that the opposition parties all added together are more than the government, but the government is the largest party single, and so they form government. Or if the Governor General or the Lieutenant Governor can invite them to continue, or so if they are the incumbent government, again, it gets convoluted, because again, it's not clear cut, because it comes down to the will of the Governor General, because that's our system. So Pierre Poilievre keeps calling these votes of no confidence because he wants to force an election right now, because he knows if an election were to happen right now, he'd be in. To me, with him keeping doing this like this, he just strikes me as a guy who's just simply, he's a toddler standing screaming it's his turn to ride the pony. He wants to ride the pony right now. That's it. He doesn't want to wait for the other kid to finish riding the pony. He wants his turn right now. So that's kind of what it smacks of. I would vote for him. I would prefer him than Trudeau. Sure, no problem. And certainly over saying I like the concept of the left. Help people, support the little guy. Every party says they support the little guy because they need the little guy's vote. But the tax and spend policies of the left are destructive and crushing for everyone, particularly for the people they say they're trying to save and help. So Jagmeet Singh is not going for these like he's siding with Trudeau all the time, because again, they know the NDP knows that right now, if the election were to call, they would lose seats badly. So there's no motivation for them to go for a vote right now, because they would lose. Plus, coupled with the fact that if they stick it out until, stick with Trudeau and stick it out, they can get their pension. Full pension, like 100 and something, thousand a year. Something stupid like that. Again, I keep saying it should be considered contract employment, and you should have saved. And don't even think of, because they're not destitute afterwards, because they turn around and become lobbyists, because, well, people in Parliament will actually answer their phone calls. They won't answer yours. Heck, I won't even answer my tweet. But hey. So I still think the entire system needs to go. I have no confidence in the system. And I think all of them in it clearly represent themselves. And they tell you everything's, they'll fix things and so forth. And maybe they mean well. But again, really, when they get in power, they don't really do a whole lot. And nothing really much changes when it comes to my life. Other than, generally speaking, things get more expensive, there's more taxes or what have you. I don't see any fundamental changes which would actually make my life better. I still vote. But again, the entire system concentrates power way too much in the hands of the Prime Minister, which is why Poilievre is just itching, because he wants to win the game. Win the game at the federal level. Woohoo, he does that, and that's it. He goes off and he does his book tours and he does whatever, and he still gets his big, wonderful pension despite still working. How does that work? So they're certainly well taken care of. even premiers, and it's just a bizarre thing where the amount of money which is spent to look after people who are no longer employed. It's one thing to fund someone's pension and say, okay, fine, we'll match corporate in the corporate world donations to your RRSP. Okay, that's one thing. I can see that. More than that, it's not like you can't work anymore. It's you get paid a great deal when you're in power. Save, put some money aside. It just is bizarre. And we'll still keep an eye on you, making sure you're not going to do anything untoward. So these votes of no confidence are going to keep coming, and they're going to keep getting voted down because there's no motivation for Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to side with them, and the others don't really want to go either because I think they'll also lose party power, and I think because the Bloc knows that they'll get more money and more stuff from Trudeau than they would from the Conservatives because Trudeau is from Quebec. So I have no faith in the system. I have no faith in any of them there. I don't think they're going to do any major changes. They're not going to improve my life at all because they really don't want to because they're in it for them, not for us.